Started building brakes while I'm waiting for parts to arrive. Don't know if you remember this from a previous video. It was my steering arm. Welded a nut on the end there. I'm going to use this for the lever. That's what I did. Got an old screwdriver handle. Bored a hole all the way through. A big old coach bolt through it, which is an M8. So that's going to be my handle. And now I am building the bit that it's going to sit in. So this is going to be bolted to my door. Drill 2 holes here. I'm going to cut down these lines. So this is going to sit in there, which will be the guide for the handle for the brake. So I'm going to cut that open now. Okay, clean this up a little bit. So I'm going to have a couple of bolt holes here. I'll screw to the door, and then my little brake lever is going to slide in the middle there, bolt at the bottom to the frame, so it just keeps it level as I do that. While I was doing this, got a parcel, which is my brake disc, 3mm thick, and this goes in the middle, axle through there, bolts together. So that's a bonus. Just waiting for my caliper now, so I'm going to crack on and get this mounted to the car, test it, and then get it painted. Got my hole in the bottom of my handle, where that little Sharpie mark is. That's where I want to mount it to the frame. So through this side, out the other side, and then bolt it on the inside. But I'm going to have to take this door card off, which is a bit annoying because some of the screws are behind this wood, so I'm going to have to take the wood off to get the door card off, and then hopefully there's enough wood behind it so I can countersink the nut into, so this door card doesn't stick out. So I'm going to start tearing it apart now. Okay, this is what we ended up with. Still need to connect a few more bits, like a big push rod, which will push my master cylinder in. But we got a sliding lever. Managed to countersink that in, so me this door card will go on nice and flush. I'm pretty happy with that. Just got to build the rest. Got the oil off of it. Didn't end up using white spirit in the end, but it's nice and dry now. Got it all bolted together. It's got this little Allen key bolt there, the extra clampage once it goes on. Little 6mm keyway, which I've got. Should be 30mm. So to get it on, I'll have to pull that axle clean out, which I obviously haven't got room in here, so we're gonna have to wheel it out of the garage. It's a nice dry day, so I'll get it done in a second. Also, while everything's off with the wheels and everything, I'm gonna get these on, my little axle collars, just so it doesn't move. So I'm going to wheel this out now and get it jacked up, get that rear axle off. Kind of forgot I put my chain on, so that's going to have to come off first. Shouldn't be too hard. disc in. It's flopping around at the moment because it's not tightened up. Need to get my keyway in there, tighten that bolt down, clamp it once I find out where it's actually going to live. Got my axle collars on so this ain't going nowhere. Measured it out properly, so that's where it's going to live now. So I'll figure out where this is going to go and clamp it down, get the chain back on, go from there. We've still got a bit of a sloppy chain. I feel like I can't take any more links out. What I've done, bought a chain tensioner, which is going to go around here. I need a bracket. So I've cut some shapes. Now I'm going to slap it all together. Okay, that's what I went with in the end. So, got a bit of angle iron, bolted that to a bit of 5mm thick plate, bolted my chain tensioner to that, and there he is. Yeah. Right, I'm going to finish up on these brakes. So I've got my brake caliper attached to the master cylinder. The disc is on. Not tightened up yet because I don't know where it's going to sit. I'm going to have to make a bracket. It's got 2 bolt holes there, little M8s. So we'll make a bracket to attach to that. Sit the caliper over the disc. The only thing I got metal to build off really is this bar going across, which is my engine mounting bar. So might have to cut out a bit more wood and come up. It's going to be pretty hard getting a welder down in there as well. Can't even take this panel off because I mean I've got the bar axle going through and all these bolts as well, so I have to rip half the car apart just to take this panel off. I'm going to try and weld it in there. So that's the caliper side. Master cylinder side, I have got, I'm going to run a hole through here, about there, for the pipe to go through, and then tight in here. I've got a couple of bolt holes here, so I need that mounted about there really, on the side of the door, and then we'll get a bar going from here. We'll remove that cable tie, we'll run a bar from that to there, so when you pull the lever it'll push that in, making the brake fluid close that end. So that's our plan. Took the boot off so we've got a bit of extra access. So I've got to just try and figure out how I'm going to do this now. This should be the last part to go on the car. Okay, so I've just made this bracket. Bottom piece here is going to be welded to the bar going across where my engine mounts are. So I'll weld that on, probably put some tabs on. Got a couple of bolt holes up here, which the caliper will be bolted to, like that. I'm going to have to grind down the bolts pretty flush to this though, because obviously my disc is going to be a millimetre away from this. So I'll get it bolted up now, see where we're at. So the caliper is bolted on like that. That's the other side. Got to shave these down because my disc is going to sit in there and they'll hit those otherwise. So I'll cut these down, grind them flat to this, and try it on for size. Right, so while that's cooling down a bit, next step is to bolt this down. I think that's where it needs to be. So I'm going to cut down a bit of keyway to go underneath, get it bolted down, and then we'll weld my bracket to that bar down there. Right, bolted down my disc. It's pretty hard to get a keyway in there though. I had to get the old hammer on it, but he's on now. Next issue is trying to keep this straight so those pads aren't touching, and trying to get a big welding handle down this gap. That side's going to be easier, but it's not going to be easy. So I'll try and get this balanced somehow. Don't think my magnets are going to hold it, so I'll have to think of something else. Okay, I've got some welds down there. It's pretty difficult to get the right angle. And they're not the best welds I've ever done, which is why I'm going to build a bracket coming from this down to there as well, because this isn't something I want to snap off as I'm trying to break. So I'll make a little triangle bracket now. Okay, so I've cut this bracket out for some extra support. It's hard to show you in the car because it's right down low, but I'll put this together to kind of show you what's going on. So this is the bar we just welded onto, and this is the bracket that I've just made. We've welded along here, so the weld is sticking out a bit, which is why I've cut this out to allow for that. So we're going to weld that up against along here and up there for some extra support, hopefully. So cleaned up the edges, ready for welding, and just try and get it in there. Okay, gonna mount the master cylinder here, drilled a hole through here and here, and on the other side I've countersank it on the wood, so it's just the metal there now, so I can get a bolt in there with a nut on the end and sit it flush against the door card. So I'll drill this one out now. One of them. Okay, got that bolted up. Got double nuts on the end. Pretty sturdy. So next we need to join this to that via a bar. I've got some more of this, so I'm going to make it out of that over here. Okay, this is what we got. So, the lever, pull that moves this bar, which pushes this in, pushes the brake fluid, squeezes the calipers. But we need to make a little bracket just to hold this, a bit like this one here, but turn it 90 degrees, just to hold it from going left and right and up and down. Because at the moment it's doing that, but we need it to stay still, so I'm going to make something like this, bolt it to there just to guide it. Right, this is where we're to, a bit of a dead end. So what I want, I've cut this out, it's going to be cut down about there, it's going to strap to the door, and I want this to slide through a gap here. The way I did this one is I drilled a hole there and there, so I've got rounded edges, and then I just put my angle grinder from here to here and there to there. But my angle grinder is going to be too big for this, and I don't want to overcut it like I did just there. So I'm not sure this is going to work, but I'm going to give it a go. I've got a Dremel with a little slitting disc on it. I can see this just blowing up, but I'm going to give that a go. It's quite thick still, so can't see it working, but I can't see any other solution, so I'm hoping it does work. Holy shit. So that's exactly what I thought would happen. I don't know where that ended up. Somewhere down the garage. Damn. Where the fuck did that go? It landed over here somewhere, I don't even know. I'll find it in a minute. After nearly slitting my own throat with that disc, I'm still not going to do an angle grinder through it because it will just kill it. So I'm going to drill another hole in the middle, and then the little pyramid-y bits that's going to be left over, I'm just going to have to file it by hand. It's not the way I wanted to do it, but it's going to be pretty time consuming. Here we go. Okay, so that third hole in the middle worked, and then I just got the old files out, filed the rest of it down, a couple of screw holes to bolt it to the wall, So I'm pretty sure, as far as parts go, this is the last part that needs to go on this car. So apart from bleeding brakes, little things like that, and obviously painting the bits I just did, that's the last piece. Let's get it on. That's all together. That's my brakes. All works well. Calipers all welded in. Steampunky. Gotta bleed my brakes yet. I'm happy with how that's worked. Made from real thick steel as well, so there's no chance of anything snapping. Good. I'm gonna bleed these brakes today. Problem is, usually when I buy one of these master cylinders, it's got a pipe running off of it with a little reservoir at the top that I can just fill. But this hasn't got one of them. It's got a cap, so you've got to fill it in this way, which means this has to be rotated 90 degrees. So I think we're gonna have to unbolt all this, flip it up, fill it up as much as we can, bolt it back on, and then obviously try and push the brake fluid through the pipe to the caliper, and then unbolt it, fill it up again, and continue to do that a few times, which isn't ideal really, but I can't see another way of doing it, so that's what we're gonna do. Okay, managed to bleed the brakes. I've got some good pressure there now, and they work. Ended up getting a mate around, and he held that down, and he was pushing this end down on the floor as I kept topping this up and releasing the bleed nipple to get the air out. So that works pretty good now. That's the good news. The bad news is my landlord's selling this place, so I've got to find somewhere else, preferably with a garage. Had some good times in here. Built 5 cars now. This is the 5th one. That was the other 4. So I've got a lot of good memories in here. So we're under a pretty crazy deadline to find somewhere else. But my priority of finding a new place would be a garage, obviously, or a workshop. So, I mean, you can see I've got quite a lot of stuff. So I'm going to have to find a home for all this. But, you know, I'm sure we'll find somewhere. And do the next build there. I was going to start the next build straight away, but there's no point in starting another one in here. So, just have to keep you updated on what's going on. Main thing is this car's finished now. Apart from painting up these little bits here. You know, this is still raw metal. Just going to paint those, and then this car's literally done. So I think I'll end this video on a little montage of what I've built here. See you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe.